What's up, internet land? Just wanted to make a video today and talk about some of the facts and some of the reasons why I left the witnesses. Turn that down. I won't blast them at you real fast. I'm going to talk about them, and if you're looking for some good information to look up, this might be the video for you. So the first one is find out the origins of the witnesses. They come from the Millerites. Oh yeah, fact check all this too. Look it up on the internet. Do some Google searches to find this out. Don't take my word for it. So anyway, the witnesses came from the Millerite movement. The Millerite movement kind of fell off because they were big end of the world predictors, and they predicted the end of the world sometime in the mid 1800s. And because it failed, the religion kind of fell apart, but it splintered off into three new religions: the Witnesses, Seventh-day Adventists, and one other one. So predicting the end of the world was something that Charles Taze Russell was used to hearing about and doing, and he continued that on. He predicted the end of the world several times in the early years, up to 1914. 1914 was supposed to be the end of the world, and then the Witnesses, when it didn't come, they kind of switched it up and said, "Oh, Jesus came then at that time." So, failed prophecy of the end of the world is huge, and was a big thing for me because it triggered a memory that I had. I used to work in New Hampshire, and I'd pass a billboard with a church that said the end of the world's coming on a certain date. And I used to think, man, how crazy. Like, who would believe that stupid religion for posting the end of the world? And then it got me to thinking, wait a minute, why am I not applying that same logic to the Witnesses? They predicted the end of the world a bunch of times. How stupid and how crazy would I have to be to belong to a religion that was predicting the end of the world? So, apply the same logic from one thing to another, and you're going to tear the Witnesses apart pretty quick. Another one was the abundance of child molestation cases. Now, I don't think that's a damning thing for the Witnesses. I think every group out there, religious or otherwise, is going to have bad eggs in it and who do horrible things. So that in itself wasn't a tipping point for me. What frustrated me and got me upset, though, was the way they handled it. So they're more worried about their PR than they are about the victims. So they're so worried about PR that they're not reporting things to the police. In fact, their policy is to report it to the branch first and let the branch make the decision on what to do, which is completely messed up. If a kid is saying that someone molested them, that should be brought to the police immediately. There should be no question. There should be no meeting of elders. It should just go straight to the police. And it's sad that the parents feel like they should be going to the elders first, but you're manipulated into that. You're told that, well, it's if you damage the reputation of the Witnesses, you're actually damaging God's reputation, and you wouldn't want to damage God's reputation. And that's just a sick, disgusting line of reasoning that the Witnesses push. And that's why these cases of child molestation go unchecked. And they also have their 2-witness rule, which they kind of doubled down on in a video on a broadcast, a JW broadcast, and said how that was biblical to have a 2-witness rule, which it's really not, because a couple chapters later it talks about a woman crying out in a field and the guy still being stoned to death, even though there was only one witness. So they're just cherry picking to find, to support their 2-witness rule, which is just a messed up rule, especially when it comes to child molestation. So that's a huge one. Do some research on that. You're going to find the Australian Royal Commission. You're going to find out a bunch of settlements where the Watchtower Society's paid out millions of dollars. That's also going to help you understand why they keep, I was there for when our Kingdom Hall, the loan was forgiven. How blessed we are. The Jehovah's helping us out by forgiving the loan on our Kingdom Hall. You know why they did that, right? So they need to now form separate entities for each congregation, because the Watchtower is getting sued so bad that the elder body would get sued from not handling the molestation case correctly. So I own my own business. I understand what they're doing. They're trying to form separate corporations and separate entities between themselves and the congregations. That way, when someone sues them for molestation, they have a harder time suing the actual organization. They can only sue the congregation because it's its own business entity. And you know how, you write your checks, sometimes it's the Christian Congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses, and sometimes it's the Watchtower, and your checks that the assemblies, it's always like it's something different. It's because they're forming new corporations in order to hide the money, so that way when they get sued, they can't get sued for so much. So it's all business decisions. They're getting sued their pants off. So look that up. I mean, that's some fun information to look up. You can see where your donations are going. But I mean, those are all strictly business decisions, nothing to do with loving the halls or the anything to benefit the congregations. It's all to separate themselves from molestation cases. So that's a good one to research. Do a little bit of digging for the Elders book. So the Elders book is like the secret green book that only elders get. So you're going on 6 minutes. All right, I'll talk for a few more minutes. The secret green Elders book can be found online though, because the green book was subpoenaed in one of the court cases during a child molestation case, and because it became public record, it now can be found as a PDF online pretty much anywhere. So you just type in Jehovah's Witness Elder book and you'll find it. Download it, and then go through the disfellowshipping section. So as a witness, you're told forever that you have to be unrepentant. In fact, if you go to the JW website and type in disfellowshipping, it will clearly state that 2 conditions need to be met. A gross sin needs to be committed, and the person must be unrepentant for you to be disfellowshipped. That is a bold-faced lie. Because if you hop on the Elders book, you will find out that they can pretty much disfellowship you for anything. And being unrepentant is not a reason to not disfellowship somebody. So they straight up lie to you. A society that has a secret book that the normal run-of-the-mill members can't see should be a sign for everyone that, wait a minute, something's wrong here. Why do they have a secret book that we're going to be judged by, yet we're not even allowed to see? That doesn't make sense. So imagine being in a land or driving down a road with no posted speed limit. Yeah, you get pulled over and ticketed for going over the speed limit, even though they never told you what the speed limit was. So that's essentially what this Green Elders Handbook is. So that's pretty crazy. Just another thing for you to look up and realize that the witnesses are pretty messed up. So we're 8 minutes in, so that's 3 things you could look up. There are so many more. You're going to find a bunch when you're doing your own research that help solidify your decision on fading and leaving, and realizing that these men that are in New York are not led by God. They're just businessmen making business decisions, and they're trying to find the best way to continue to lead this religion. And I've thought about that for a while. That'll be another video. I'm not really sure if they're true believers or they're just business people, because it's hard to tell. But that's for another video anyway. I'd like to talk about that for a little bit. So hopefully I gave you some stuff to look up. And as always, shoot me a message. I'll try to answer it. If you're going through a hard time or something, give me a call. And especially if you're leaving, I'm in Maine. I'm in southern Maine. So if you're in the area and you're leaving and want someone local to talk to, give me a shout. All right, have a good day.